Everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Physical Media Friday. I hope everyone had a happy holiday season and a happy new year. A lot of birthdays in December, I noticed. Seems like everybody had a birthday. I had a really fun birthday party. My kids, especially my daughter's friend's boyfriend, got me this Mario Kart Hot Wheels. You guys know I collect Hot Wheels. This one was from Japan. That was cool. My daughter got me this cool reaction figure, excuse me, of the Invisible Man, which I did not have. You know, I have actually most of the other ones. I don't have a Phantom of the Opera. That was cool. So I had a pretty good birthday. And real quick, last week my son and I unboxed and opened mostly some Clint Eastwood films and some other Westerns. And many of them were part of a large eBay order, and I just want to mention the store. It was the GoPeachyStore. So if you look at all of these two stacks, there was one buy two get one free deal, and then there was another, as we mentioned last week, buy 3 get 10 free deal. So I had that in my cart all day. I was looking all day off and on, and then finally it was after midnight. I just said I got to narrow this down and decide. So I'll show you that. I'll show you the ones I didn't show last week in a moment here. But yeah, what a great deal. The GoPeachyStore. And then I did get a box of Kino Lorber today. And I did take out a Clint Eastwood film. I will show you that. But I'll add Kino Lorber to the rest of the editions that I'll be showing over the next several months, as I will be kind of slowing down the actual purchasing in 2025. I've got plenty to show and plenty of other things to talk about for Physical Media Fridays. But let's get to it. Hold on a minute. Okay, we'll start with the one Clint Eastwood film that I got from the Kino Lorber shipment. Yes, there was a sale going on. Pretty much anytime I get some Kino Lorber titles in, it's from a sale. Clint Eastwood, The Beguiled, produced and directed by Donald Siegel. I'd forgotten that part, that this was a Don Siegel film. His frequent collaborator, of course. But unlike many of those other films, this is a very sort of unconventional role for Clint Eastwood, especially at that time, a role that people used to point to if the question of whether or not Clint Eastwood was like acting, or whether or not he was a good actor. People used to submit this as Exhibit A, that he was. This is kind of a disturbing film, more of a psychological drama, 105 minutes, also starring Geraldine Page. I am looking forward to taking another dive into this, but yeah, this might be one you have to be in the mood for. By the way, what I've learned from working my way through Rawhide is that although he's very much a work in progress, he's actually, you know, especially in the first season, his acting is quite good in that. Next, kind of a strange assortment, guys. Remember, I was going through that eBay page like off and on all day, so I just ended up with a strange combination of films here. Fatal Lessons, The Good Teacher. One of those. Direct Source Special Products Incorporated. Oh, interesting. So we've got Ken Tremblett from Tourist Trap. Huh. Yeah, there's a few actors in Tourist Trap that I have not... One of my favorite horror movies of all times. You haven't really seen in too many other things. Erica Leniak. She may have been in a movie called Under Siege. I'm not really sure. Yeah, anyway, one of these kinds of movies. Was it a Lifetime movie, or... I'm not really sure. Made in Canada, 96 minutes, 2002. Okay. Yep, let's see. The teacher becomes almost part of the family, but she may not be what she seems. Fatal Lessons. Next, this is one, if it wasn't after midnight when I finally pulled the trigger on the whole batch from eBay, from the GoPeachyStore, I probably would have tried to swap this one out. Shirley Temple. There is a particular Shirley Temple film that I cannot remember the title of course, now that I'm making a video, that I'm very fond of. But these are all shorts, so thought it might be nice to have, and we'll check them out eventually. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe my granddaughters will get into that eventually. Next. Now, this is interesting because I don't have any of these. And let me do this. Okay. I had to shuffle them. Now, here we have another 4 film favorites compilation. 4 film favorites of horror that features 4 films that I don't have. You know, a lot of times you get these and you have 1 or 2, but you want to see one of the other ones. I don't have any of these. So I've got Wolfen, which of course now completes the triumvirate of wolf or werewolf movies. I mean, Wolfen is not really a werewolf movie, but, you know, it came out around the same time as American Werewolf in London and The Howling, which I've both watched somewhat recently. Anyway, also another werewolf movie, Bad Moon. And then you got Body Snatchers. That is Abel Ferrara's take on Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And then Coma, Guinevere Bujold, Michael Douglas, and what is the name of that woman that has the fantastic voice? I can never remember her name. She's in this. Elizabeth Ashley. So, speaking of Body Snatchers, and speaking of being a completist, which I am about some things, but not other things, I got the most recent adaptation of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, The Invasion, starring Nicole Kidman, Daniel Craig. I enjoyed this. I thought it was pretty good. A different take. I'm going to enjoy rewatching this, but I do have the original Don Siegel film, as well as the Jeff Goldblum remake. Philip Kaufman remake, I should say. Okay, all right, next. Little snapper case. Robin Hood. Douglas Fairbanks. I was thinking this is the one from the 40s. I mean, it says right on there. Like I said, I was just trying to decide which. It was after midnight. I could not go back and review my order one more time. But I'm happy to have this one. 1922. The 40s would be Errol Flynn, not Douglas Fairbanks. Yep. Guess this is a silent film. It'll be interesting to watch. Apparently they built some pretty extensive sets for that film. Next, we've got a film that I believe is like a self-aware, interesting film in the career of Jean-Claude Van Damme, JCVD, The Biggest Fight of His Life. So I believe he plays himself, and he's caught up in some kind of a bank robbery or something. So a very meta kind of a film. Be interested to check that out for sure. Next, got a real good, what looks to be a really good thriller here. Always been a fan of Burt Lancaster. Actually, always been a fan of Robert Ryan, too. And also Will Geer. Executive Action. You look at the cover there, you can pretty much figure out what that's about. To this day, they remain somewhere among us. Those people responsible for November 22nd, 1963. Co-written by Dalton Trumbo. Be interesting. The Way It Could Have Happened. Okay. Next, this is one I remember hunting down back in the day. The video store I worked at didn't have it. So unlike a lot of my friends out there, my first stop wasn't Blockbuster. That's where I went as a last resort. But the problem is, if my store didn't have it, that usually meant that Blockbuster wasn't going to get it either. But in this case, they did. Godzilla 2000. And when I rented it, the clerk said, I think you're the first one to rent this, which made me a little sad. Not the greatest Godzilla movie ever, from my recollection, but happy to have it. Get ready to crumble. A UFO reveals itself as a massive alien monster with awesome destructive powers. Okay. And then this is one I could have included in last week's haul since we were doing Westerns. We also mentioned Tommy Lee Jones last week. Boy, this is a heck of a movie. The Missing. I don't hear people talk about this too much anymore. Kate Blanchett, directed by Ron Howard. And Eric Schweig is terrifying in this movie. Eric Schweig, who played Uncas in Last of the Mohicans. He is absolutely horrifying in this film. There he is. He just looks totally different. He's scary. But my recollection is, this is a heck of a movie. Interested to rewatch this one. Oh, we got 2 discs. Okay. Special features. Sweet. Nice sturdy case. Next, we got a mini-series and then a series. I actually thought this was a movie. And I think there is a movie. But this is a mini-series. Revelations. Omnium Finis Imminent. This stars Bill Pullman and Natasha McClone. He's an astrophysicist. She's a nun. She starts to convince him that the end of days is upon us, even though he's initially skeptical. So yeah, I found one little mistake on the printing. Look at this. 4 hours and 30 minutes total. This spot here says run time for disc. And then over here, this second disc is 2 hours and 10 minutes. So someone just forgot to delete that and fill it in. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I'll take a look at it for sure. And next is a series. The funny thing is, I think I've seen these 3 seasons, but I didn't really watch much after these 3 seasons. So I've always been meaning to go back and finish it. I remember my son was quite young, and every time he heard the theme music, he was like, "Oh, you're watching Downton Abbey again." Okay, seasons 1, 2, and 3. Okay, a really good series, starring the late Maggie Smith, and she has some real great lines in this. She has some real zingers. I mean, she roasts some people. Also starring Elizabeth McGovern. Of course, this is where I first noticed Dan Stevens, and when he left the show to concentrate on films, you know, a lot of people were skeptical. A lot of actors, TV actors, have done that, and it hasn't worked out. Well, he's done really well, I think. I mean, the characters I've seen him play in movies are quite different from his character on the show. He's a really good actor. But excellent show if you've never seen it. Even if you don't think that's up your alley, if you got the time. I don't know how many seasons there were, and I know there was also a follow-up movie. If you've got the time, you might want to check it out. There's the whole haul. Whole haul? There's the entire haul. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Take card to show you. As always, thanks for watching. Leave a comment below, and come back again next Friday for another Physical Media Friday. Later.